Simon, coming around again. It's Nick Coffer on Three Counties Radio. We will be talking about stars, but stars of the actual in the sky variety, rather than very, very famous people right after this.
Three Counties Sport.
Any excuse to play David Bowie? Starman, of course. It's because we're going to talk about this. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit obvious, April. Social media, it certainly gives us all kind of great resources. So let's face it, you can find your loved ones from miles away, see what your friends are up to. And in fact, on this programme, I very often get guests by looking around at what's going on online with local groups on Facebook. Well, the Sandy Astronomical Society started in a very similar way. They came together via the Sandy Town Facebook page, and not realising there were so many of them interested in astronomy, they decided to form their own society. April Harper is one of the founding members. Do you approve of David Bowie's Starman playing while we chat?
I do. David Bowie is pretty much one of the best.
See, look at what I've also got. I can play Simply Red and Stars while I talk to you. Gonna Make You a Star, David Essex? No, that's a little bit more tenuous, isn't it? Wishing on a Star. We could do that as well.
I'll stick to Bowie.
Bowie all the way. Now here's the thing, there you all were on the Sandy Town Facebook page. One of these marvellous resources that pretty well all of our towns and villages across the three counties has. These Facebook pages are very vibrant, aren't they?
They are, yeah. I mean, I'm a member of all the local ones to me, so the Sandy one, the Bedford one, the Luton one, because I work in Luton. So,
are you a member of the buy and sell groups as well?
Yeah.
They're pretty incredible, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, because you can pick up some real bargains. I've managed to pick up a Dalek from being on another story.
Oh, give me the story. So you picked up a Dalek?
I did. I picked up an inflatable Dalek.
Oh, it's inflatable?
Yes, because my son is, he'll be 16 and he wanted a Dalek. He wanted a Doctor Who party. So we made him a TARDIS, a police box.
Yeah.
And I picked up a Dalek for the party.
What a great mum you are. You actually went and found him a Dalek in one of your local found groups.
Yeah.
So the Sandy Town Facebook page, what kind of people frequent that?
Mostly it's the people from Sandy in the local area. For me, it's my local town, because I live in one of the villages. So for me, I often go there. My mother-in-law lives there. My husband grew up there. So for me, it's a huge resource.
Isn't the fact your mother-in-law's there a reason to avoid the town, or am I
No, my mother-in-law, I have to honestly say, is marvellous.
Can't comment on mine. No, I can. My mother-in-law is lovely. She's absolutely lovely, April. She knows.
I'm genuinely. She's
I'm
a really marvellous person.
I also know she listens, which is why I'm saying she's lovely. How did you all discover? What was the process of coincidence that you realised that you weren't the only person that loved astronomy?
Well, what happened was one of the founding members, Ricky, went onto there and he'd just got his telescope and he was saying, "Is anybody else interested in astronomy?" And quite a few of us use social media, so we went on there and we said, yes, I've got a telescope. These are the kinds of the pictures that I've taken using my telescope. And it got to the stage where a couple of us were pretty much taking over the page.
It became an astronomy fest.
Yeah, it did, pretty much.
Did the admins approve of that?
Well, they were probably getting irritated, so we decided, or more to the point, Ricky decided that he should create our own Facebook group.
What a wonderful coincidence, though, that there you all are nattering on the Sandy Town Facebook page, buying and selling your Daleks, and you realise that there is a community within 4 or 5 miles of the town who all love the stars.
Most astronomers tend to be members of large astronomy societies, but actually astronomy is a pretty personal observations. Individually, it's kind of a singular thing. It's very solitary and quiet. You don't tend to be chatting to anybody while you're out there in the cold and the dark.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
At whatever time in the morning.
When did your love of astronomy first surface its head?
I've always loved astronomy. I've always been interested in science fiction. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan, and I'm a huge Star Trek fan, and my husband actually decided, when he had some spare cash, to buy a telescope.
Now, when you say spare cash, my little boy's got a telescope.
Yeah.
It cost $9.99, and it just sort of basically, you can see to the other end of the garden. Yeah. What are we talking about in terms of cost for a proper astronomical? Is it an astronomical cost?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, it isn't. A basic telescope that would pretty much sort anyone out for the beginners would be a Dobsonian type of telescope, and their cost for something which is a 6-inch mirror would cost around £200.
So it's an investment worth, maybe, as we spoke about the buy and sell groups you can find on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Go and look on Gumtree and eBay and all of those sites. They're going to be second hand, because people will then, as they do with cameras, they'll start with a starter telescope and then move on.
Absolutely, and that's actually how I found my beast. I call it the beast because it's got a 10-inch mirror. I found the beast on eBay, so that's how I found that telescope. So it's my husband's fault. He bought this 8-inch Dobsonian, and we started looking at the moon, and it was really good to look at the moon.
Well done, you carried on beautifully.
And I took a picture of the moon through the telescope on my smartphone, actually. And I suddenly realised...
So you can do that. You simply connect the camera.
You can if you angle it correctly, yes. And I realised that this was really something that I wanted to get into. So
I get this. Don't get me wrong. I completely get this, because there is an utter fascination about what happens beyond our atmosphere.
It's lovely to look at the moon and to see the stars and the moon, and I defy anyone to take their first look at Jupiter's spot or the rings of Saturn with your own eyes. And once you've done that, once you've looked at the moon and Jupiter and Saturn, you will be seriously thinking how you can go from your 200 or 300 pound telescope onto something up from that.
Is it very humbling? I'm just imagining myself sitting in my back garden and connecting with these wonderful planets, these huge beasts of planets that are around us and the stars. Is it really a way of connecting with how tiny weeny we are?
It is, in some respects, but it also makes you realise how precious we are as well, because as far as we know, we are alone. We haven't found anyone else yet. It doesn't mean there isn't anyone else out there of any other
We're getting
type.
closer. We're finding little bits of
We're finding more planets around the suns, and we're using more technology. But then you suddenly realise that you are this tiny little speck. When you're talking about huge distances, you realise you are just this little spot.
Insignificant spot. Do you know, I'm going to give you a little bit more time, because we haven't even talked about the society yet, the meetings that you've got coming up, how we can get involved, and perhaps also I want to ask you whether it's something that I should be looking to do with my young children, because I suspect that my little boy might particularly enjoy this particular pursuit. And I'm going to indulge myself. Now, having played Bowie, I'm going to play Simply Red and Stars, because it's stars and we're talking about stars. The Sandy Astronomical Society, lots of star lovers there, and they really want you to come along and help. It's BBC 3cr Radio. Stars, it's Simply Red, in honour of the Sandy Astronomical Society, who want you to come along and join them and be members and be volunteers. If you're a bit of an astronomer yourself, if you want to convince me why I should be laying out £200 or £300 on a beast. The beast is more expensive, isn't it?
The beast is more expensive, yeah.
Why I should be getting involved in astronomy, and certainly involving my young children. If you do it with your children, perhaps your grandchildren, if you love astronomy, I'd love to hear your story. 08459 455 555. Do you sit in your back garden looking up at the skies in wonderment at the planets and the stars? Is it something that I should be taking up myself? You can also text me 81333. Start your text with 3CR. April, Xanadu's not in the stars, is it?
No, not to my knowledge.
It's a fictional place, isn't
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because I'm going to play Xanadu. I just wondered whether it might have a little bit of an astronomical link. Is there not a planet called Xanadu somewhere?
Possibly. I don't know.
Good if there was. Olivia Newton-John would know if there was. We're talking stars with April from the Sandy Astronomical Society. After this, it is Xanadu. Xanadu, it's Olivia Newton-John, BBC 3cr Radio. April Harper in the studio with me, Nick Coffer, talking about the Sandy Astronomical Society. You're a bit of a BBC 3cr Radio geek, aren't you, April? This is quite exciting, isn't it?
I do listen to Ian and JVS, yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that when it stops?
Yeah, kind of, because normally by the afternoon...
This was going so well?
Yeah, I know. Normally by the afternoon,
yes.
I listen to the news.
Right.
And then, sadly, the network just dies.
Dies in the afternoon when I come on?
And by that time, I'm normally listening to tunes on the phone.
Tunes on the phone at work?
Yeah.
Right. So just to be clear, Ian, then Jonathan, and then you switch off. How did you get on this programme? Did we not conduct the same test we always conduct, Alice? Oh dear.
It's not fair. I do listen to you on occasion.
On occasion?
Yeah.
What, November the 11th at 1:42? You've even asked me, this is how much of a geek you are, you've even asked me who were our advent calendar people on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of December, which is impressive. I don't know the answer. I have asked, but I don't have the answer yet.
Right, okay.
It will come back to us.
Because I know that on the Friday before that week, I know that neither Ian or JVS had got on.
Oh, you were watching it that closely, were you?
And I was wondering who won out of those two.
No, it wouldn't have been a question of winning. No, it would have been a random...
the way they were phrasing it.
A randomly generated, entirely fair... I know that myself and Rob were on Saturdays, that I do remember. I think Rob was the 8th and I was the 15th, but obviously from what you're saying, we were the losers in that particular course. I should be talking to my friend who organised that. I didn't realise it was actually, make a note there, it was actually part of a hierarchy. Back to the Sandy Astronomical Society.
Yeah.
So you've decided to create this society. What exactly is it you're going to be doing there?
Well, primarily is to get us all together. We hope to offer some outreach. So do you understand the concept of outreach? So John Dobson, who's one of the founders, I suppose the founders of outreach, but he actually invented the Dobsonian mount, which is a very popular mount.
Yeah,
and he actually said that if there were 1 million people with telescopes willing to let just a few thousand other people look through them, it is possible that everyone who walks the Earth might see this universe.
It's quite a lot, though, to let 1,000 people play with your telescope.
Well, sometimes I have no choice. My son, whenever I have the telescopes out in the back garden in the early evening, especially in the summer if I'm looking at the sun, safely by the way, you should never look at the sun directly, he invites people...
S-U-N, that is.
Yeah.
Not S-O-N.
Yeah, but he invites people into the garden and lets them look through the telescopes, whether I'm there or not, so I have to be on hand.
So yours are permanently in your back garden?
They get taken out when I need them.
Okay.
But
so
later this year, my husband is promised to build me an observatory in the garden.
This is incredible. You're going to have your own observatory, like with a proper domed roof?
Yeah. He's
Do you have a huge house?
No, I just live in a village, but it has quite a good garden space. But we downloaded the plans from the BBC Sky at Night magazine. So we're going to build our observatory and then they will have a permanent house.
You have a very understanding husband and a very lucky son who's going to have an observatory in his own garden.
Yes.
You need people excuse me, you need people, choking on my own words, you need people to come and join your monthly meetups. Now the first one is next Thursday, isn't it?
Yes.
Where's that going to be?
It's at Mama's coffee shop, which is in Sandy. Tracy, who owns the coffee shop, is also an amateur astronomer and she bought her first telescope this Christmas, just gone. But she's always been kind of interested in astronomy, and she opens up her coffee shop especially for us in the evening so we can meet there. It's a better environment than meeting down the pub.
And the second meeting will be at the same place, 7 o'clock on the 5th of March.
Yeah.
Who do you want to come along?
Anyone who's interested in astronomy, but we would particularly like, yes, we would like your money, we'd like you to join, but as
how much?
It's only £5.
That's all right.
And that includes you and your immediate family. So it's we think it's a very good value. And with the money that we have from the society, if there's any spare money this year, we'll be donating it to the RSPB, which is in Sandy, their headquarters.
Of course.
But actually what we plan to do with it is buy some telescopes, which we can then loan out to our members that don't have telescopes.
Yeah. And now you all met on Facebook. I'm assuming you've got a Facebook page where people can find what you're up to?
Yep, absolutely. It's the Sandy Astronomical Society.
So do a search on Facebook for the Sandy Astronomical Society. It'll take you there. £5 to join for the year, not only for yourself but your family as well. You get a chance to play with all the telescopes that they've got there and look for stuff. What's the major events coming up in the next couple of months in terms of in the sky?
The most major event actually is going to be on March the 20th, when we actually there's a full solar eclipse. It's good, well north of the British Isles, but here you'll see about 90 to 95% totality.
So that means the moon is going to cover the sun?
Yes, and from about 8:30 in the morning through to about 9:30ish, it'll go dark. It'll go noticeably dark.
Really?
Yeah.
On March the
20th this year.
And that'll be during Ian's programme and Jonathan's programme?
Yes.
I wonder whether they'll mention it, whether they'll go outside and have a look.
Maybe. I won't be listening to them.
Yeah, now, just because...
No, because I won't actually, I genuinely won't be listening to them.
You'll be busy looking at the sky.
I'll be planning to take my telescope somewhere.
Well, if you listen to me later on that day, you never know, I might talk about my experiences a bit earlier on in the morning. April, good luck with this. I think it sounds like a lot of fun, and I hope that lots of people will come and join you. Mama's Coffee Shop in Sandy next Thursday, the 5th of February. Go along and find out all about astronomy and meet all these... it was strange that Sandy's got such a large concentration of starry types, but they want you to go along and join them, and £5 will see you for membership. Good luck with it, keep us up to date with it, and thanks for coming to us at BBC3cr Radio.
You're welcome.